Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile with a message for everyone paying big wireless way too much. Please, for the love of everything good in this world, stop. With Mint, you can get premium wireless for just $15 a month. Of course, if you enjoy overpaying, no judgments, but that's weird. Okay, one judgment. Anyway, give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.
This podcast is sponsored by Talkspace. May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and Talkspace, the leading virtual therapy provider, is telling everyone, let's face it in therapy. By talking or texting with a supportive, licensed therapist at Talkspace, you can face whatever is holding you back, whether it's mental health symptoms, relationship drama, past trauma, bad habits, or another challenge that you need support to work through. It's easy to sign up. Just go to Talkspace.com and you'll be paired with a provider, typically within 48 hours. And because you'll meet your therapist online, you don't have to take time off work or arrange childcare. You'll meet on your schedule. Plus, Talkspace is in-network with most major insurers, and most insured members have a $0 copay. Make your mental health a priority and start today. If you're not covered by insurance, get $80 off your first month with Talkspace when you go to Talkspace.com and enter promo code SPACE80. That's SPACE80. To match with a licensed therapist today, go to Talkspace.com and enter promo code SPACE80.
Welcome to the Retreat Leaders Podcast, your sanctuary with retreat experts, where we spill the tea on retreat success. Here we dive into crafting transformational guest experiences, talk about how to avoid pitfalls, and unlock marketing secrets. Whether you're a seasoned guru or a budding enthusiast, we've got the inside scoop for you. Join us as we learn how to flourish in this magical world of retreats.
Hey guys, welcome to the Retreat Leaders Podcast. It's Shannon, and I am super excited about my guest today. I'm going to let her tell you a little bit about who she is and what she does, but welcome Aleya Harris to the show.
Thank you so much for having me, Shannon. I'm excited to be here.
Yay! Okay, why don't you just first kick us off by telling me who you are and what you do?
Sure. My name is Aleya Harris. I am a strategic storytelling consultant. And all that means is that I use stories to help leaders lead, to help sellers sell, and to help speakers spark the stage. It's amazing what happens when you own your story and are able to communicate it to connect with another human. You feel more fulfilled and you make more money. And that's what I am in the business of doing, whether it's through consulting, through my business, The Evolution Collective, Inc., or through my course, Spark the Stage.
Yes, I feel all of this. Not only is this like right up our alley as far as what we are going to dive into today, which is adding maybe speaking to someone's lineup of what they do, but also storytelling in general. Like one of the things, I had a group coaching call yesterday with those that are in my membership. And one of the things I talked about is that too many times I'm seeing retreat leaders just put their stuff out there and there's no story to go with it. It's just the stuff. And it's like, what is this telling me? It's telling me that I could just go to a travel agent to do this instead of like, what's the actual story here? So I'm so glad that you're mentioning that being able to effectively tell a story equals more sales, because that is like, I don't know. I want to put exclamation, like all the things.
All the things. I have a story about that, actually, to underscore this. Surprise, surprise, I have a story. So I was working with a client for about 2 years, and I helped do the foundational story and messaging for a couple of his different businesses. He is a brilliant mind, a brilliant entrepreneur. One of his businesses was an unconventional real estate brokerage company. And this company actually does well when brokers don't do well, because they help you park your license and you can be a referral broker without having to be an actual like real estate agent and a realtor and do all of the things. Well, the National Association of Realtors recently had a settlement against them, which changed the commission structure for realtors. For most realtors, that was horrible, because 80% of realtors are not very good at their job. So they're right on the brink of like getting out anyways. And being a realtor is really, really hard. So if you're at the top of your game, you weren't worried, but most people were, and they were trying to figure out what to do, which made his business model, chef's kiss, perfect. And another company, a big company, was like, we want to buy you. And he was like, okay. And they're like, we'll give you a good 2 mil. And he goes, 2 mil? Are you kidding me? Like, I can do that. We did that already on my own without you. I don't need you for $2 million. I can do that on my own. And he called me up and he said, I think that the problem is they don't understand the story. They have the financials, our lawyers are going all over the details of everything, but they don't get the story of how this benefits them and what journey they could go on with having our resources and technology, et cetera. So I said, okay. He said, I need my story girl, who apparently is me. I'm very proud to be. And I wrote him a story. I talked about his differentiators. I talked about the problems that they solve specifically for this larger company. I talked about the journey, what if they don't buy them, life looked like, which of course was bleak and uninteresting.
Love it.
They gave it. I wrote letters for the lawyers to send. And a couple of weeks later, he came back and he goes, Aleya, they gave me a new valuation. And I said, what was it? He goes, your story got me a valuation of $51 million.
Hell yeah.
And I'm like, so story works. He goes, story works. They closed in June of 2024. So if you were wondering if Shannon was just full of hot air, because this happens to me in my audience too, Shannon. It's like they hear your voice and it's almost like you become like that mom that just is saying, clean up your room, clean up your room, clean up your room. But then one of their friends comes over and it's like, oh my God, your room's a mess. And then they clean up their room. It's like that.
Yes.
So I'll be the friend that comes over to tell you the same thing that Shannon's been telling you this entire time, that you need to tell a story. And hopefully you'll actually listen to me so you can make some money.
Amen and hallelujah. Yes, this is exactly what I'm talking about when it comes to selling retreats, whether it's your copy on your website, your social posts, your SEO work, the conversations you have, the space that you take should tell a story. And I love that you pointed out all the big things. What is the pain points? What's the solution? How does this feel? What should be the end result? Like all of that. And it is a story. So I love this. All right, let's lead into, along the lines of still telling a story, is I've got some retreat leaders out there who they're wanting to dip into the speaking field. They're wanting to either, add it to their lineup. So maybe they're a coach, whatever their job is, and they're hosting retreats, and they also want to add speaking to it or to be one of the offerings. Or they're wanting to do that at other people's retreats, right? So other people's events, they want to speak at their events and their retreats. So talk to me about that and how powerful that is.
Speaking is incredibly powerful. I know you're probably like, well, of course you would say that. You teach people how to speak. You're just trying to sell something. True, yes, but also not true. Speaking is very powerful. So I became a speaker trainer by accident and like not willingly. It was reluctantly happened because people kept asking me, how do I speak like you? I was just a speaker before, a year and a half ago. The reason why people ask me is because I'm really good on stage and I know how to tell stories. To which you're like, yay, pat yourself on the back, good for you. The reason why I'm telling you this is because speaking from stage is how I made $250,000 in 6 months. It was not because I just got up on stage, held a mic, and hoped for the best. It was because I got on stage and made people feel something. You, as a human being, do not have the power to transform another human being. If you have children, you understand this. You can tell them as many times as you would like to do something. It's up to them whether they decide to listen to you or not. My daughter is 2. So it really is like rolling the dice if this chick is going to listen to me. When I say, get down from there, don't eat that, don't put that in your mouth, don't touch that. What are your hands sticky? Why are you wet? What have you done? Right? I have zero control over this situation. It's not until she decides to listen that her transformation can take place. The same thing is true of an audience. Your job as a speaker, what I like to call a performance artist who delivers helpful information from the stage that is of high service to others, your job in that role is to make them, the audience member, believe so much that they can transform their story from where they are to a story that they actually like, that they take action to make that transformation. That's when you get up on stage and you're not having to pitch yourself over and over and over again for additional speaking gigs, because speaking begets speaking. You will get booked from that stage to the next stage and the next. And yeah, you will. I'm pitching, but it becomes easier and you gain momentum when you are good on stage. And you are good on stage when you're focused on the right things. with love, the most love. So much love in my heart, I tell you this. It is not about you. When you are on stage, it's very easy to think that it's about you because you're the cute one with the little dress on, probably with a girdle underneath if you're like me. Got your makeup did, you got your hair did, nails done, right? You have the little lavalier mic, so you're feeling a little bit like Madonna, and the spotlight is on you. None of that matters. All of that is just so people can trust you. Your appearance is so that you don't put them off. The spotlight is just so they can see you. The mic is so that they can hear you. Your job is to lead a group transformational experience just like you would in a retreat. You just do it from the stage in a short amount of time, and you make people believe that they can do it. That's what a good speaker is.
Hey guys, it's Shannon. If you've been dreaming about hosting retreats or taking your existing retreats to the next level, let's make it happen together. Join me August 22nd through 24th for an unforgettable retreat leader mastermind experience. It's going to be located on my ranch in the beautiful Texas Hill Country. Here's what you'll get when you hang out with me and an amazing group of like-minded leaders. Learn my top strategies for marketing, business operations, and selling out your retreats. Connect with other passionate retreat leaders in a high-vibe, supportive circle. Recharge, relax, refresh, and soak up all the inspiration our ranch and our staff have to offer because you deserve it. This isn't just another workshop. It's a chance to step fully into your role as a heart-centered leader while building a business that thrives. I'll be right there with you, sharing everything I've learned from the years of hosting retreats and running my own venue. Spots are super limited, so grab yours now at profitwithpurposemastermind.com. Let's create retreats that transform lives, starting with yours. That's profitwithpurposemastermind.com. I can't wait to see you there. You know, this relates to everything about what we do as retreat leaders as well, because a lot of times retreat leaders, when they're holding space for their guests, especially new retreat leaders more than anything, they think that the guests are all there for them as the retreat leader. And yes, of course, they're there for some of the skills and some of the experience and some of the humor or entertainment or whatever that is, but they're there for themselves. They're there so they can experience something, so they can have this transformation, so they can feel wowed and connected. And oh my gosh, do we sometimes forget that in the retreat business and obviously in the speaker world as well?
Oh, absolutely. So there's a way to forget it, and that makes you be all puffed up and you just talk about yourself the whole time. Nobody likes that. Then there's also the same way that you still forget it. You think everyone's there for you and you become super stressed out and self-conscious. You're like, oh my God, they can see everything. They can hear everything. I have to be perfect. Oh my. Let's all take a collective deep breath and in and out. Remember, it is not about you. So you guys are retreat leaders. Most of you are as woo, probably more woo than I am. You know that the ego can sometimes override your good sense, your good common sense that your mama gave you. So you need to be like, hey, man, I know that I need to have a little bit of a healthy ego to be able to say, I can do this. I have something important to say. But I'm not going to let the ego be in the seat to drive me towards thinking I'm better and more important than I am. And I'm also not going to let it overprotect me to the point where I feel like I can't step out and use my voice. If you have stage fright, there's a couple of reasons. You feel unprepared, you feel unworthy, or you feel like you are overly responsible for the outcome. Unprepared means that your stories are not ready. You need a better framework. You need to learn your sides. You need more time. You need to know it like the back of your hand. If you are unworthy, you don't believe your own story, and you may need to do your own transformative work before you get onto that stage. So you believe that your story is powerful. And the third thing is you don't have to be perfect. I channel most speakers that you talk to, channel from the spirit, channel from the universe, from the God, the big donut maker in the sky, whoever you decide to look to, even if it is just your highest, best self. In my book, Spark the Stage, I call it your radically authentic self. I know that being on stage, the moment that the mic is either in my hand or I'm hooked up looking like Madonna, is a very small part of what speaking is. That's the performance. The work of a speaker happens off stage. It happens in meditation. It happens in journaling. It happens in you putting your hand on your heart. I learned this technique from one of my guests, Brett Cotter, on my podcast last night. I love it. He had me crying as soon as I was loving it. So you put your hand on your heart or wherever you feel tension, you breathe in and you speak out loud what you're thinking, what you're feeling. You let the pain out. You let the tears flow out. That's the work that happens in between being on stage so that you clear space to listen. Because when I get on stage, my slides are super simple. There's a structure, there's a framework, there's stories, I have things prepared. But then I listen and I realize that, oh, maybe this needs to be adjusted. This is what this room needs. This is what this person needs. This is where I need to take this. But you can only do that if you realize you don't need to be in control, right? So many things in life, like planning a retreat, and you have the spreadsheets and tick boxes and the clipboard and whatever, you feel like you have to be in control. You are in control of making sure that you have everything set up. And then you are also in control of making sure that you are comfortable enough putting it all away to be in that moment present with that audience to be of the highest service you can possibly be.
Hey, it's Shannon here. I'm just popping in really quickly to ask a big favor. Would you pause the show and go review it for us? Please. Reviews really help us to be able to get more guests and more experts on the show to help you transform your retreats. So if you wouldn't mind pausing and leaving us a review, that would mean everything. And if you're not already subscribed, do that too.
The listening part is like smacking me in the face in such a good way. It goes directly also with the ego part. And here's what I mean by that. My first, year or two of hosting retreats, it really was like the actual execution of the retreat was so ego driven. And what I mean is I felt like I had to be the answer for everything. I had to be literally all of the things. I had to be present all of the time. If there was a lull in the energy, I had to fill it. Like it was just, first of all, fucking exhausting, like just exhausting, because who can do all of that and still.
I bet it sounds exhausting. Even that sentence you said, when there's a lull in the energy, you had to feel it. My whole body went, oh.
So yes. And yes, that's exactly what happens in your body, in your heart, and in your mind. And it wasn't until I really did do some of those things that you're talking about. I had to journal it out. I had to cry it out. I had to pause and go, what am I doing? Is this even what I want to do? And really go, where is this coming from? And it was coming from my ego. It really was. I wasn't pausing and listening. I wasn't even allowing, right? There was like hardly any allowing there. And now I really have learned to remove myself a lot from the spaces so that people can find their own connection after the speaking, right? Like after the moments, or allowing them to connect with each other, allowing them to find what they're needing without me being the one that's carrying it all. And so it was one of those things where I had to make this huge adjustment, and I had to find that space to listen. You got to make the space to listen. So thank you for sharing that.
Absolutely. It's so funny because my worst clients are the ones who know the most. Like, I love it. But as soon as I get a doctor, I'm like, oh, crap. And I tell them straight to their face, you, my friend, are going to be difficult. I was doing the brand story for a dermatologist, double board certified, and she was creating this skincare. And it took her forever to allow me to take out of the website copy the chemical composition of the way and the breakdown of the way the melanin molecule in the skin works and why it's targeted forever because she knew too much. The same thing goes for retreat leaders. You guys all day are telling people, breathe it out, let it go. What's your mantra? Have you sat and thought about it? Get in touch with your inner child. Did you journal about it? Let's eat healthy food. Let's go for a run. Let's do some yoga. To the point where you don't do any of those things because you're so busy telling everybody else to do those things. And I know it sounds like I'm poking fun at you. I'm really poking fun at me too. So it's okay. We're in the same boat and the boat is fine. It maybe has a couple of holes in it, but we're still floating, right? We're still floating. The point is to recognize that the same dishing out you're taking, you need to take it yourself so that you can be there to show up and serve. Otherwise, it won't matter what you say from the stage because people won't be present with you to hear it.
Yes. Yes. So tell me about what you can do to help others. Maybe there's retreat leaders who are either struggling with storytelling in general or are wanting to add speaking to their lineup and just do not feel like they have the skills, confidence, know-how, all of those things. How can you help them?
I'm so glad you asked, Shannon. So I have a program called Spark the Stage. It's also a best-selling book called Spark the Stage as well, which you can find on Amazon or anywhere books are sold. And this, like I said earlier, program wasn't supposed to exist. I very selfishly was like, I don't want to teach other people how to speak. I need to focus on my career. I need to focus on me speaking. But when I was getting off stages, oddly enough, mostly at women's retreats when I was speaking, they were like, how do I do this? I want to do what you do. How do I do that? And I would take the time. I always answer questions afterwards. I'll hug it out. We can go out in the hallway. I'll break it down for you. And then they're like, no, we need more. So then I created a 4-week live workshop. And I was like, well, if y'all show up to this, then we'll talk. They did. So then I created the course. And it's an on-demand course that teaches you soup to nuts, if you've never spoken on stage to even if you've spoken on a few, how to dive into yourself, rifle around, and figure out who you are and what your why is, how to find your crisis stories that are compelling and powerful, how to translate those stories into tried and true frameworks that I promise you will capture the hearts and minds of your audience, and then how to layer those frameworks into the structure that I call a Radical Spark signature talk, which is basically everything from my award-winning talks, everything that corporate event planners have told me they love, put into a structure that it's like, if you do it, if you just follow directions, there's like a template, it's like Mad Lib style, right? You will come up with a great talk. And I teach you everything from how to use the stage, where to put your hands, how to walk back and forth, how to craft a slide deck, how to pitch, where to find gigs, what to do once you get the gigs, how much to charge, all of it. It is how to become a professional speaker from soup to nuts, all in one. There's an on-demand course that you can take at your leisure. I recommend doing it over 6 weeks, but I have people that have done it in shorter. I have some people that I am nudging to do it still after a year. And then you get me, because I have this problem. I like people. Like when you, and I'm sure like maybe with like retreat people too, you're like, well, I have to have packages and like what comes in what package. And that was not working for me because I would just give everybody everything, whatever package they got. And that's not fair to people that buy the higher package, right? So what happens is you buy it, then you get me for 12 months and you're stuck with me, kid. You can talk to me in group coaching. There's Slack. I will review videos. I will answer questions. We can talk about existential crises that tend to happen in the beginning. Who am I? Why am I doing this? All of it for a year. And you just pay up front and then you get me. And we can just really help you grow and develop as many talks, as many situations as you would like. So it's called Spark the Stage. If you want to schedule a call to talk to me about how it works for you, you can go to aleyaharris.com/spark, ALEYAHARRIS.com/spark.
Yes. And all of this will be in the show notes. So thank you so much for coming on and telling people, really showing people how important storytelling is, no matter really what business they're in, to be quite frank with you, but especially for us retreat leaders and how they might even be able to expand that storytelling onto the stage itself. So thank you so much.
Thank you for having me, Shannon.
Thanks for listening to the Retreat Leaders Podcast. Learn more at www.theretreatranch.com. See you next time.
This podcast is sponsored by Talkspace. May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and Talkspace, the leading virtual therapy provider, is telling everyone, let's face it in therapy. By talking or texting with a supportive, licensed therapist at Talkspace, you can face whatever is holding you back, whether it's mental health symptoms, relationship drama, past trauma, bad habits, or another challenge that you need support to work through. It's easy to sign up. Just go to Talkspace.com and you'll be paired with a provider, typically within 48 hours. And because you'll meet your therapist online, you don't have to take time off work or arrange childcare. You'll meet on your schedule. Plus, Talkspace is in-network with most major insurers, and most insured members have a $0 copay. Make your mental health a priority and start today. If you're not covered by insurance, get $80 off your first month with Talkspace when you go to Talkspace.com and enter promo code SPACE80. That's SPACE80. To match with a licensed therapist today, go to Talkspace.com and enter promo code SPACE80.